I've noticed that when brands start getting popular, a lot of people tend to just buy it because their favorite influencer or celebrity makes the item look dope. That, or you start to see a collection of people start to wear it. I'm guilty of that. Personally, I'm always wanting to upgrade my style for myself, but I always fall into the societal hype train, not in an effort to look cool, but to fit in because everyone has that popular item. One particular brand that I've been eyeing is none other than Our Legacy. So I decided to do some research on the brand to learn more, and in hopes that maybe, just maybe, this brand is more than what the hype is about. Now, the history of Our Legacy started in 2004 and was founded in 2005 by, not trying to butcher the name, but Joachim Hallen and Christopher Nying, while Ricardos Clarin joined later. Our Legacy started off as an independent fashion brand based in Stockholm, Sweden, and started off with printed t-shirts. Both Joachim and Christopher started off as graphic designers, with Christopher being much more of the art angle and Joachim being more of the curator, both of them wanting to create and wear something that wasn't out there. Now, according to a Vogue interview, they wanted to create the perfect t-shirt ever and wanted to transform that into a brand based on classic menswear with a Dior Homme-esque inspiration to ultimately romanticizing the modern gentleman. In 2007, they extended their invite to Ricardos, who was working in Stockholm doing sales for Acne, ultimately making him the third co-owner. Now, the name Our Legacy in itself came from the idea that they were taking the legacy of previous generations and adapting it to our times and our lives. 7 years later, in 2012, with its stagnancy due to the traditional ideas of Scandinavian design, they decided to take a more fashion-forward approach. Our Legacy started their workshop initiative in 2016 in hopes to breathe life into old garments through upcycling and recycling. In 2018, they ended up announcing their women's wear line, announcing their first women's store in Soho, London in 2019. Their mission statement states, "Our legacy exists in the junction between familiar and irregular, with reworked yet recognizable silhouettes across recurring subcategories." Now, why did Our Legacy get popular? And first things first, I feel like it's a multitude of things, but I believe these three reasons really push the brand forward. Reason number one, minimalism. With Sweden being part of the Scandinavian countries, I believe they played homage to where they come from. And Scandinavian design in itself is known for its minimalism. With the uprise of minimalism around the early 2000s, it was only a matter of time before it caught up to modern day fashion. And reason number two is influencers. Usually a lot of brands get noticed when famous celebrities wear their brand, and this applies from streetwear all the way to designer brands. Now, reason number three is collaborations. A lot of brands tend to collaborate in order to leverage new eyes from other brands. Now, some famous collaborations from Our Legacy, their first collection being with Vans Vault, paying homage to California punk. They also did a collaboration with Doc Marten on their timeless 1461 silhouette derby, and also did a collaboration with Denim Tears, and get this, Shakur Estate, to promote the impact of Mr. Machiavelli himself.
You're watching the big picture. This is Tupac.
And lastly, one that I feel everyone knows is with the uprise of Stussy, and probably one of the streetwear brands that have literally lasted its time. You can see a lot of their collaborations with them, which I've seen sells out in a matter of minutes. Now, as for styling, their design language is to reduce and not add, which you can see. A lot of their looks are minimalistic with a borderline push to trendy looks and modernity. And again, a lot of focus on menswear and women's wear with intricate attention to detail and repurposing of materials, known for their custom developed fabrics on signature shapes, while applying their own twists to timeless design staples. Now you're wondering, who is this brand for? And aside the hype and uprise of the brand, I think we can really enjoy what the brand has cultivated into. As someone who is finally in his 30s, my ethos went from getting as much of the hype brands as possible and forming this huge hype streetwear collection in my early teenage years to now wanting more with less. I feel that this brand is for someone who is starting to explore the designer world ahead of your, typical big name fashion houses like Gucci, Dior, Louis Vuitton, etc. And this brand ultimately acts like an accessible bridge from streetwear into high fashion design. And with its minimal design and classic silhouettes with a focus on menswear and womenswear, I feel like this is for the person who wants to upgrade their minimal essentials into something more elevated, and for someone who is looking to dress their age as a quote-unquote adult. Yes, they have the fashion forward looks with some pieces being more on the trendy side, but regardless of that, I think to find a brand that can make you look trendy during certain seasons while at the same time upgrading your essential collection is hard and rare. And this brand does that. With all the researching and with a new mindset, I'm excited to explore more brands that I can hopefully learn from. How do you guys feel about our legacy? Let me know in the comments below.